Okay, I've got to get in the picture so I can be seen with my friend and colleague, former student, Forrest Powell. Good evening, Forrest.
Evening.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. And I invited Forrest to come and participate in Bill Bink's Trumpet Talk because he recently took 2 trumpets, one of which was mine and one of which was a friend of mine's, into his shop and at Stomvi, and they came back playing better than they ever have before. So clearly he's got a handle on what it is that makes trumpets work well. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to him about tonight. He's also a wonderful trumpet player, so hopefully we'll get into what it is that he practices and what he's playing and who he studied with and what kinds of techniques he finds helpful. But let's start off, if we could, Forrest. When I gave you that trumpet, it was okay, but it wasn't great, right?
Yeah.
And what is it that you did with that trumpet that made it play so much better?
Well, I give it a valve alignment.
You did a valve alignment.
It desperately needed one.
Yeah.
There were some valves that were out of whack.
All right, now I know I've heard of valve alignments for a long time, especially from Bob Reeves, who I used to visit all the time. And was Bob Reeves the first person to do valve alignments that you know of?
As far as I know. And he started doing them in 1975.
So Bob started doing valve alignments.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about Bob, and I hope to have him here also sometime, is that Bob started off a trumpet player studying with John Kleiman, right?
Yeah.
And at one time, I'm not quite sure how it worked, but I know that Bob said that he wanted to get started up with his own shop, I think, and John Kleiman wrote him a check for a new lathe, and ever since then, Bob's been going to town and just making things so much better for all us brass players. So you worked with Bob for a while, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you learned how to do the valve work?
Yeah, it is. I learned with Bob and a guy named John Snell, who works there now, and they taught me how to do the valve alignments.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I remember you as being mechanically oriented to begin with. I mean, you just had to seem to have a knack for things that were mechanical. And so that's got to be a big plus going into it. In fact, I think Bob Reeves called me and asked me for the name of somebody that would be good to work at a shop. And isn't that how you...
Yeah, I think so.
And that's how John Snell got started, too. So it's nice that I can enjoy the fruits of your labor, especially after making that recommendation and knowing that you did so well.
Yeah.
And John Snell also. And what was it that you learned from Bob that seems to help the valve? First of all, what is a valve alignment? It's like hocus pocus to people such as myself who really don't know an intake a manifold from a exhaust pipe.
Yeah, well, the valve alignment is basically essentially lining up the holes in the pistons with the corresponding holes in the casing. Mm-hmm. So you line up an upstroke and a downstroke for each valve, and so that's it. You try to get it...
But wait a minute. Don't horns come from the factory so that when you press the valve down, you can see through the hole? I mean...
They get it close sometimes. So.
Well, now what's close? What is close?
Close could be 5/1000 of an inch is pretty good. So
5/1000 of an inch.
Yeah. So that's pretty close. People can usually feel a difference around 8-10 thousandths.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so 0.003 of an inch can make the difference between a horn playing well and just playing good. Playing good and better.
I'd say it makes a difference in the evenness of the blow, and when you're not having to compensate so much for the how the horn blows, then the harmonics are freed up and you get more sound for less effort. So that's basically the idea behind it.
Right.
I mean, you want to get the most sound out of the thing, and with the least amount of effort.
Okay. Right. Does opening up the ports so that the air goes through easier, is that what it makes the difference?
That's one of the benefits. I mean, you're going to get more consistent airflow throughout the horn. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. You can think of it as like if the valves aren't lined up, it's as if you're somewhat half valving the instrument. We all know what that feels like and sounds like.
Right.
So instead of half valving it, that's maybe a half an inch. We're talking about 10 thousandths, or in some cases I've seen horns out 60 or 80 thousandths of an inch, and that can really make a difference on the way the horn blows. 20 thousandths, you'll definitely feel it, even if it's just one.
I'm really tempted, but I won't ask. Are there some manufacturers that do better than others? But I won't ask that question because we want everyone to think that their manufacturers are doing a great job. So when a horn comes new, is it likely to need a valve alignment?
Most likely.
Most likely, even though it's new.
Even if it's not just because the valves are misaligned, but having a valve alignment, you're getting more stable pad material, and it depends on who's doing it. But Bob certainly has stable material, and certainly here at Stomvi USA we use really stable material. Also, a little bit different.
Is that material like a patented secret?
Yeah, we can't tell you.
You don't tell. You'd have to kill me, right?
You would have to kill me.
Okay.
But that's one thing that you're getting is consistency. The valve. You're going to be chasing the horn changing all the time because of the valve alignment if you don't have stable pad material. So even if it comes to you from the factory lined up or really close to being lined up, it's still going to be changing if it doesn't have stable material. So.
All right, so this is going to be part 1. We're going to have more than one part. We'll have 3 or 4, okay?
Okay.
So this is part 1. It's just like an introduction to what it is that you do, talking a little bit about valve alignment and its history. Okay, cool. We'll be right back.